Welcome to the October 27th, 2020 City of Broussard Council meeting. Please silence your cell phones, and if anyone from the audience would like to make a comment on an item listed on our agenda, please fill out a blue card located in the back of the room and turn your card in to our city clerk. Each speaker will be given a maximum of 5 minutes. We'll now call our meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. We'd like to dedicate our prayer tonight to Mr. John Dyer, who faithfully served for 23 years on the Broussard's City Planning and Zoning Committee. Our prayers go out to his family, and he will be missed. Mr. Garrett?
We, the members of the Broussard City Council, beg of thee, Almighty God, to enlighten our minds so that our work will be just and fair in all things. Give us the courage and strength to fulfill our duties according to the laws of the land, and fulfilling also thy holy will on earth and in heaven. Through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Item 2.1, acceptance of the minutes of the October 13th, 2020 meeting. Do we have a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
The minutes were supplied in the packet. Is there any public comment?
No public comment.
Council discussion?
Call for the question.
District 1? Yes. District 2? District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yay.
At large? Yay. Motion carries.
Item 3.1, approval of the September 2020 financial report. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll move.
Our presenter tonight is Mrs. Karen Fontenot, our CFO. Welcome, Karen. It is. Thank you for that report, Karen. That's informative. Is there any public comment?
No public comment.
Any council comment?
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yay.
At large?
Yay.
District 1? Yes. Motion carries.
Item 4.1, resolution number 642-20, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Broussard in support of Lafayette Parish being approved for federal assistance in the aftermath of Hurricane Delta to provide public assistance, Category A, debris removal, and Category B, emergency protective measures, and individual assistance for the Parish of Lafayette, Louisiana, and that Governor John Bel Edwards take all actions necessary to obtain this federal assistance for Lafayette Parish. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll move. Second.
So just a little bit of background on this resolution. Representative Couson reached out and asked us to join the other cities of Lafayette Parish and the Parish Council in passing a resolution to help this measure go along. I think since the time he reached out and we made our agenda, that the governor has advanced Lafayette Parish and is asking for that approval from the federal government. But these things would help the city of Broussard to get reimbursed for costs associated with Hurricane Delta, like the debris removal that we're currently working on. That's been going on since a few days after the hurricane, and other costs that we sustained because of the emergency that we were in. So we are just joining the other cities and trying to make a unified front. Lafayette was impacted severely by the hurricane. Is there any public comment, Tina?
No public comment.
Council discussion?
District 3?
Yes.
District 4? Yes. District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yay.
At large? District 1? Yes. District 2?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 5.1, ordinance number 20-668, an ordinance of the City Council amending the 2020-2021 operating budget of revenues and expenditures by adding an additional amount up to $2.4 million for the Main Street Phase 1, South Bernard Road to Clare. A motion to introduce.
I'll second.
Our presenter tonight is Mr. Chad Danos with Duplantis Design Group. Welcome, Mr. Danos.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Also with Duplantis Design Group is Phil Parker and Joseph Marino. We can advance to the next slide. Now the next. So just to remind everyone that this project along Main Street is part of the Envision Broussard that everyone has gone through some time now through that master planning process. If we go to the next slide, we can see where Phase 1 is where what we're referring to this project is really context A of the original master plan. Let's go to the next slide. So if you see Phase 1, which is currently the project we're working on or bringing to you tonight, Phase 2, which is context areas B and C, and then Phase 3, which is D, E, and F from the master plan. So just to kind of give you a little bit of an overview on those three phases, Duplantis Design Group is under contract for all three phases. We are progressing with all three phases. Phase 1 is currently shovel ready to move forward. It's quite frankly, it's the easiest to move forward with. It's probably the least expensive approach and one that we're ready to move forward. We're looking at probably about a year from, with your approval, we're about a year away from construction being completed on Phase 1. Phase 2, which is your downtown area, we're probably looking at about a year away from being ready for going out to bid for construction on that project. There's a lot more complexities, obviously, with a lot of the infrastructure, a lot of the existing businesses and homes. you know, a lot of things to work through as to figuring out how do we not turn off water and power and all of that infrastructure to those homes and those businesses, and keep that project moving forward without interruption. There's a lot more complexities to work through. So that's phase 2. Phase 3 is, that's the part that's under the state DOTD. We're about 3 months away from coming with the next set of construction or next set of drawings to submit to Louisiana Department of Transportation, so that then they can go through the process. One thing to keep in mind, as I think a lot of people probably understand, that DOTD is a long, arduous process. So, you know, in 3 months when we turn over, it's a long process. So it's kind of hard for us to predict how long it's going to take after that point. But just to kind of give you an idea that all 3 phases are moving forward. Phase 1, which we're here tonight, is really the phase that we're ready to advance to. And with your approval, we can then start to move that forward for construction bids. So if we go to the next slide, one of the things that we want to talk about phase 1, which is South Bernard to Clara, is that the 2 main benefits of this phase are, first, it addresses some health, safety, welfare issues. Secondly, it addresses a lot of quality of life. If we go to the next slide, safety, welfare interventions, you know, by providing bicycle and pedestrian pathways, we're addressing the safety of cyclists, the safety of vehicles and pedestrians, and giving them clear delineation to walk and bike within the Main Street corridor. We're also addressing several stormwater issues. There's some on the south side of Main Street. We're bringing in, taking all those all those open ditches, so that there'll be a nice, safe transition along the walkway, and then also realigning the coulee and the box culverts, which there's some flooding and some drainage issues associated with that. Secondly, the Main Street is also, we're reducing speed along Main Street to 35 miles an hour. So by reducing vehicular speed, it's going to become a safer environment for everyone. And then the second benefit is of those of the enhancements. We're looking at complete streets, healthy living, you know, the ability for people to walk and jog and ride bikes along this. There's also an economic stimulus associated with that. It improves the community aesthetics. It honors the community's heritage and historic past. And we'll talk a little bit about that some more. As well as create that sense of place about what makes Broussard special. And so with all of that, it really talks about integrating all those values through that. So if we go through to the next slide, we start off at South Bernard and Main Street at our West Gateway. At that location, we have a gateway entry. If we go to the next slide here, we show where we've taken some of the same concepts from the master plan on that gateway, and we've brought a sign wall down so that at that intersection you can really visibly see that you have entered Broussard, and that really demarcates the city limits as you come into that. We're really incorporating some of the context of the architecture features within the community. So, you know, utilizing the iconic balls on top of the walls at the cemetery, using some of those iconic architecture features, looking at some of the historic architecture where you've got some of that same stylistic components. This is not final, so we're open to taking input and ideas as we finalize some of these components before finalizing that. we go to the next slide, at that gateway, we'll have several amenities. We'll have including in that, we'll have garbage cans, benches, we'll have bike fix-it stations, and we'll also have some water filling bottle fountains, as well as landscape and amenities. We also have a series of signs, 3 different types of signs in there, where we have orientation signage, which kind of here's Broussard, here's where you are, kind of give people a context of where things are at. The next set of signage that we have is an interpretive sign, where it's a panel like this podium, where people can kind of stand up, look at the sign, and it gives a story about something interesting within the community or a historic character. And then the final one on the far right is more of a marker that we have along the pathway, and so that if there's a unique story or historic structure that we want to identify, we can identify that. We've talked about looking at incorporating an app, so then you have a number associated with that marker. You can go to an app, look at it, and it maybe have a video that talks about some unique historic character within the community. We'll also, if you go to the next slide, we have the same type of amenity at a trailhead, at the sidewalk that comes from Village of Broussard, where that sidewalk connects to Main Street. We have another area for sitting and trash receptacles and things like that. We move on. From there, we also have lighting along the trail. The trail is a 0.6 miles that leads from South Bernard to Broussard. Clara, I'm sorry. So we have street lights, pedestrian rated street lights. So those are 18-foot pedestrian graded street lights that run along the pathway on the south side of the pathway, between the pathway and the right-of-way line. Along with that, if we go to the next slide, we also have lighting of 14 existing very large live oaks that are part of the charm and the beauty of Broussard. So what we want to do is we really want to look at both uplighting and downlighting within those trees. You might call it moonlighting, so you don't see a light source, but you see the ambiance and the illumination of those trees. We're also looking at including LED color changing technology in those lights, so that during different times of the year, you can have Christmas colors, 4th of July colors, you name it. It could be festive and really identify that. And as you enter into the community, you really start making a statement with lighting. Let's go to the next slide. Again, we talked about the drainage infrastructure again on the south side. We're filling in and culverting a lot of those ditches that all drain into this this canal, or this coulee that the box culvert underneath Main Street will have to be replaced, and because there's about a 2-foot differentiation in elevation. So I think once that goes on, if there's questions, Phil can certainly provide more information on that. But that's going to help with a lot of the stormwater drainage components of the Main Street project. If we go to the next slide, we get to right by the pump yard, the pump house, the lift station. There's a large live oak, and one of the things is the pathway interferes with the existing roots of that live oak. If we just bring in the pathway on top of those, it would kill that beautiful live oak. So we're using this image of we'll deck over, and it's going to be a boardwalk, but it's not going to be a wood boardwalk, which would in 5 or 10 years have to be replaced. We're using a precast concrete that's going to basically last a lifetime. We're also going to embellish that a bit by using some sort of metal panel. Maybe it's the gear wheels, maybe as some sort of iconic piece that has some sort of color scheme that really starts to make an artistic impression throughout within the community and could be repeated in other phases. Let's go to the next slide, and now we get into the idea of tree plantings and landscape. What we've identified, these are some of our large trees. We've identified both large trees and small trees, and the idea is that large trees are trees that are going to ultimately grow more than 30 feet, the small trees lower than 30 feet. And what's key about that is that, especially in phase one, in phase two, there's some other areas that we can bring in large trees, but we have overhead power lines. So we need to be very cognizant of where we plant certain types of trees. Again, we've got a palette of different tree types. We're certainly open to taking input and recommendations on likes and dislikes. But the idea is that we want to make sure that we use the right tree at the right place so that we don't cause infrastructure damage in the long term. Next slide is just some examples of the small trees, and then the following slide just shows some of the more landscape shrubs and flowers that you might normally see in a Louisiana landscape, which is going to really be highlighted at the gateway, a little bit at that large bridge that spans over the critical root zone, and then also at the trailhead there. So if we go to the following slide, and it's a little bit hard for me to read at this point, but we have a little bit of some quick facts on what's provided in phase one, right? We're looking at 0.6 of a mile, 10-foot wide concrete pathway. We're going to address some stormwater issues. We're going to and potential flooding issues. We're also including a number of street lights or pedestrian lights. We're lighting 14 live oaks with color-changing LED lights. We've got 60 trees along the phase one section, some landscape. We've got some commemorative markers and a variety of signage incorporated in that, and then a lot of the amenities, the benches, the trash receptacles, the bike fixing stations, and the water bottle filling stations. So with that, we're open to taking any of your questions.
Chad, just to clarify, I didn't hear you mention the width of the multi-use path, the 10-foot wide.
That's right, a 10-foot
Pedestrian
wide
and biking.
concrete, yep, multi-use, so that bicyclists, pedestrians alike can all share the pathway.
Are you adding anything, Phil?
Sure. I just want to speak a little bit about the drainage improvements we're doing. Those of you who are familiar with that area or familiar with that box culvert over there, that thing was built in 1955. And if you go out there, you will see that that thing today has no water running through it because it's dry, because the bottom of the channel approaching that box culvert is about 2 feet below the invert of that culvert. There's kind of a roof over assembly there for a low flow pipe that goes across there. It's kind of a mess. On the downstream side, you can see that the property owner is experiencing some erosion on his property. He's got a fence that's fallen into that coulee. So what we're going to do is the box culvert addresses two things. It's designed for a 50-year storm, which will it's got considerably more capacity than the existing box culvert. We're also going to be armoring the channel upstream and downstream. We're going to try to restore that channel section downstream so that we can stop that erosion, halt that erosion, and so we can restore that gentleman's property to what it used to be. On the north side of the road, the other side of the road, We are doing some improvements. Mainly, we're cleaning out the existing ditches where they need to be cleaned from driveway to driveway. If we need to replace any culverts that are set at a adverse grade, we'll take care of that as well. We have one place on the north side where we have an oak tree, a large oak tree that has a culvert that is, it's a metal culvert that's under the roots of that oak tree. There's several over there that have culverts. Most of them are concrete, but this particular one is metal. And there's a concern of that thing collapsing and that tree coming down with it. So what we're going to do is fill that thing with some flowable fill, and we're going to reroute some drainage around it by jacking and boring the pipe, so we don't have to dig around the root system of that. And that's about the only major drainage improvement we're doing on the north side of the road. And we're not touching the roadway. The roads are overlaid. It's in good shape. So the path is going to be generally about 5 feet off the shoulder of the roadways. In some cases, it's a little further, but it doesn't get any closer than 5 feet. So that's about all I have to say about the engineering aspect of it.
Thank you for your presentation.
You're welcome.
Tina, do we have public comment?
Yes, we do. We did have several people call in that were unable to attend that were for this project, but we have several people that submitted blue cards. The first one is Toby Armentar, who is the chairman of BEDC and of the Civil Service Board, and also producer for DJW Insurance.
Yes.
Okay.
Good evening, council, ladies and gentlemen. Again, my name is Toby Armentar. I'm with the Broussard Economic Development, and I want to thank you for allowing me to speak on behalf of the BEDC regarding the Downtown Development Project. As a member of the BEDC, we are about making all efforts to increase the diversification and growth of our business community in the city of Broussard. Dealing with competition from other municipalities, every edge we can offer to the prospects gives us a huge advantage in this process. To share some of our successes of the BEDC, we have completed our first certified site in Broussard. We currently have 2 active working certifications now. So that's a great start for us. And in addition to that, we have 4 more sites in the pipeline. We're hoping to get that process started. So in essence, that would give us 7 sites in the city of Broussard that hopefully in the next year and a half we'll have certified. That'll be the most in any municipality has had in the state. So that really puts Broussard on the map when people come to look to put their business here. That's a great feather in our cap. We also have worked with the Broussard Chamber on shop local campaigns. We supported city officials who've attended the International Council Trade Show, and we've also assisted the city's tourism efforts to create a tourism website and phone application for visitors to access our local markets. Most recently, we've begun working on a downtown facade revitalization initiative that would offer resources to both commercial developers and downtown homeowners who are interested in upgrading their business buildings and homes. This project will get things moving in the downtown area and create excitement and a sense of pride for our local downtown area residents. So currently, our city hasn't had any major update in its downtown infrastructure for over 30 years. Okay, well, thank you for making it a lot worse than what it really is. I greatly appreciate that. Well, 65 years, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. To say that we're behind the curve is an understatement. With the projected update and improvement provided by the city of Broussard and leader through the charrette, we feel this could give us a great advantage for expanding business opportunities in the future. New sidewalks, updated sewer pipes, expanded streets, appealing visual landscape, faster internet. So give us an edge to attract new businesses to our downtown area. Without the downtown, the heart of downtown Broussard, everything else everything else. You know, the downtown is where we survive, where most of our people is the birthplace for the city. We envision our downtown as having a vibrant exchange of tourism and commerce as families walk down the streets and enjoying our historic homes and eating at local restaurants in the heart of our community. Now is the time for us as community leaders to focus on our downtown that has been put aside for so long. We need to give her the infrastructure and look she deserves. On a personal note, I've lived in Broussard for over 20 years. I've operated a business for over 15. My family and I go to church here. Kids go to school in Broussard. We play sports in Broussard. In most cases, after these activities, we go eat dinner in Broussard. We shop at local stores, supporting and keeping all our money here locally to help support our community. Completing this downtown development, this will give us and many other families the ability to stay and enjoy the amenities in Broussard, keeping everything local. It would be amazing after church on a Sunday to be able to walk to a local eatery and have lunch with my family. So, in closing, on behalf of the BEDC, my family, and many other families, I ask you to please support this project and help make downtown Broussard a destination for both residents and visitors. Thank you very much.
Next person is Cliff Gidger with Gidger Land Development.
Welcome, Mr. Cliff.
Hello? Don't want to make it difficult, huh? I used to karaoke. No, I don't think so. Well, I was going to come before you this evening and have a big speech, but instead I think I get the gist of what's going on here. And of course, you guys know that my passion is Broussard and my passion is downtown, where I've heavily invested, probably more than I should be. But at any rate, just want to stand before you and say that I support the project.
Next person is Stephen Aver, the Chief Executive Officer of the VO Company. And I believe Mr. Stephen has presented y'all a resolution from the VO Company supporting this.
Thank you very much, Mayor and members of the council. It's my honor to personally present to you this resolution of the Board of Directors of VO Companies. As you know, probably better than I do, members of the VO family go back with the history of the city of Broussard well over 100 years. Many members of our Board of Directors that voted on this resolution are residents and lifelong residents of Broussard. And they also attended the Envision Broussard charrette, participated in it. We discussed on several occasions in our board meeting the results of it, and definitely are in favor of this and wanted to communicate that to you. I'll say from an economic development standpoint and some of the other activities I have, I was thinking sitting in the chair, I know Jesse and Toby and I went on a leadership exchange with one at Indiana a couple of years ago to Greenville, South Carolina, where we saw the end result probably 20 or 30 years ahead of where Lafayette or Broussard is, and the things that they did to build a great sense of place. As technology and our economy moves forward, there's less and less need for talent to be located where they work. A lot of companies and employees can work from anywhere in the world. So it's important if you want to attract and retain talent that you make sure your community where they live is a place where they want to live, because they can choose. And that's going to continue to progress. So if you'll allow me, I'd like to read this resolution into the record. Thank you very much. A resolution, the Board of Directors of VO Companies, Broussard, Louisiana, in support of City of Broussard Ordinance number 2020-1 20-668, Envision Phase 1 South Bernard and Clara City. Whereas the city of Broussard has experienced rapid population and development growth in the last decade, and whereas historic downtown Broussard is an important part of sustainable growth for our city, and whereas improving our historic downtown will attract businesses to our city center, stimulating the economy, enhancing the quality of life for our residents. And whereas the city of Broussard, with assistance of the Lafayette Economic Development Authority, has engaged the services of BA Planning Group that coordinated with Charette, with the citizens of Broussard, that resulted in a master plan for Broussard's Main Street and historic downtown. Envision downtown Broussard. Therefore, be it resolved that BO Company's Board of Directors, being involved in the growth of the city of Broussard for more than 100 years with family roots deep in the community, recognize that downtown revitalization is critical to the next step. Our Board of Directors fully support Ordinance 20-668 and funding of the first phase of this very, very important project. This being said, at the meeting of the BO Company's Board of Directors held Wednesday, October the 21st, where a quorum was present, and this resolution was voted on and passed. So I sincerely ask you on behalf of the Board of Directors and BO Companies to vote in favor of this introductory ordinance and move towards final adoption.
Thank you, Steve.
Next person, Ryan Lagrange, Manager of Workforce Development Leader and also the Vice President of the BEDC.
And to add to that, also a community member. I've been living in Broussard for 8 years with my wife and 3 kids. I recently reviewed a report that was generated for downtown Lafayette, which has made investments in their downtown area. They started making investments decades ago. And this infrastructure report points out that 2 times the city average sales tax revenue is generated in their downtown area per square mile. 3 times the city property tax revenue is generated in that downtown area compared to other areas within the city, and 8 times the parish average of property tax is generated in that downtown area. This investment created the economic hotspot that their downtown currently and their city currently enjoys in their downtown. So to borrow a quote from Brent Henley, who often facilitates events in Broussard, when is the best time to plant a tree? The answer is 20 years ago. And when's the next best day? Now, today would be the next best time. So as we as you consider the approval, having a vibrant downtown that attracts businesses and private developer investment should be something that our community aspires to achieve. Our city has already taken the first step when our council partnered with LIDA to host the Downtown Charrette. And I attended those and saw city officials, I saw community members, developers, other stakeholders in the downtown, all there to give input that developed this Envision Downtown Broussard plan. The last thing that any of us want to see is an excellent plan like this sit on a shelf in front of us. So I'm hoping you will vote in favor of this budget amendment to move phase 1 of the downtown plan forward. Also, on a personal note, in the early months of the pandemic, I found myself and my daughter riding bikes all over the city of Broussard, and we did venture out downtown many times, and we were faced with sidewalks that end abruptly or sidewalks that don't quite connect to the next safe neighborhood. And I'm not going to put my 11-year-old on a busy road, so we found ourselves walking through ditches and walking through grass to finish our bike ride. So as a economic developer, as a community volunteer, and as a resident, I'm asking you to please move forward with this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
And last, Stacy Romero, President of the Broussard Chamber of Commerce.
Welcome, Stacy.
Good evening to you all. Not only am I the president of the Broussard Chamber of Commerce, but I'm also a proud citizen of Broussard who has spent nearly 2 decades here raising my family. Thank you for allowing me this time to share why I'm in favor of seeing the Downtown Redevelopment Initiative envision Broussard come to fruition. Nearly 3 years ago, I began working to achieve the Chamber's mission, which is to assist in the growth and development of business. And I've also been honored to collaborate closely with the city and the Economic Development Corporation on various projects. Through both public and private partnerships, the Chamber offers dozens of opportunities annually for hundreds of local business leaders to connect with one another, to grow their relationships, and ultimately to develop their businesses. We also plan and execute unrivaled family-friendly events which attract thousands to our city, residents and visitors alike who eat and shop with our Chamber members. We work hard to shine a spotlight on all that Broussard has to offer, and our members appreciate these efforts. This is something that we've continued to do despite the challenges of a global pandemic, an economic shutdown, and multiple natural disasters. So to say that this Chamber is committed to ensuring that our city doesn't just survive, but thrives regardless of the circumstances is an understatement. I'm proud of what we've accomplished and of what we've planned for the near term, but I also believe there's still so much more to do if we're going to realize long-term success. There's great potential in our downtown area, especially now that we have control of Arsenal Park. As Chamber President, my vision for the future includes a walkable downtown stretching from the South Bernard Gateway to Arsenal Park and beyond, one in which residents and visitors alike will spend their evenings enjoying live music along Main Street while sampling local cuisine at unique restaurants, and then plan to spend their Saturday mornings strolling through Arsenal Park buying produce from local farmers. And on special occasions like July 4th and the Christmas holidays, we offer experiences for families to create memories to last a lifetime. Parades, family-friendly festivals, outdoor concerts, farmers markets, and so much more that attract visitors who are ready to support our merchants to shop local. The plan for the revitalization of the entire downtown corridor, which includes both the restoration of current structures and the construction of new ones, will not only attract visitors to our city, but will also encourage businesses that cater to those people to follow. In the not-so-distant future, I see a vibrant, bustling Main Street that exudes our history and unique culture, is charming, yet has a progressive vibe, and becomes one of the most hospitable areas in Acadiana. If we build it, I honestly believe they will come. In closing, I'm here tonight to express my firm commitment to the Envision Broussard project and to humbly ask for your help in bringing it to life. Last year's charrette confirmed that our community is ready for us to build something that will make others stop and take notice, something that will be enjoyed by many for generations to come. Our community is counting on us, and in my opinion, there's no better time than now to lay the foundation for the future. We have a plan, and you have committed people like me, volunteers like those who sit on the DEDC board, and even private business owners who stand ready to invest resources in a multitude of projects. I truly hope that we can come together, collaborate for the good of the whole, and work to create a community that will be second to none. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacey. Tina, are there any more speakers?
No, sir, that's it.
Well, those were some wonderful speakers.
I'd like to say something.
Yes, sir, Mr. Bonet.
I've lived here all of my life, 2 blocks off of Main Street, so I consider myself a downtown. And Toby, I was not exaggerating. This is 1963 when they put the clay pipes in for the sewer. That's the last infrastructure that was put in town, besides a few little spots with some new water lines. 1963. The administration before you, previous, didn't even want to consider speaking about spending any money in downtown. I want to thank Ray for keeping an open mind and listening to everybody. And I wanted to say that I'm proud to put my name as a yes to advance the downtown area and spend the money and put the infrastructure in town. I'm just so proud to have my name on that yes.
I'd like to just add a couple of comments just to make sure that we have clarity in some of the things we're talking about. In 2014, the city of Broussard signed a contract with DOTD, the state, it was a right sizing contract. What the agreement on the contract is, I read it again today, is that we would add a turn lane from beginning to end of downtown Broussard, which is South Bernard Road all the way to Alvis's Parkway. At that time, the problem that the city faced was that we couldn't get a road overlay. All of you travel the roads in Broussard. If you go out and test the road past Bernard Road today on Pinhook, it's in pretty horrendous shape. And if you travel south after the railroad tracks in front of Arsenal Park in that area, again, it's about in the same terrible shape. The only way the city could do an overlay was to make a deal with the state where it would go from a state highway to a city highway. Then the city could invest funds, and that happened then, and that's why you have a smooth road from Bernard Road into Broussard until the railroad tracks around St. Deportes. We have since talked to the state and asked them about changing our plans. This happened over the time of the charrette. And the state likes two things. The state likes to move traffic. DOTD likes to grow roads, move traffic faster, and be more efficient. Or they like complete streets where you slow traffic down a little bit, but you create a community where people can spend time, pedestrians, biking, walking, all of that. That, our new plan, is acceptable within our contract. But what we are dealing with is in phase 3 that the state has to execute construction for us. They have committed within our contract in 2014 $3 million for that construction. So since that time, 6 years, Broussard has been wrestling and tangling with this project. And I'm always in favor of solving multiple problems with one solution if we can. The issue of our infrastructure is our water lines, sewer lines, etc. The state wants to help us improve a road. But all of these things can be solved in one project, and I think that's where we've ended up. So about 18 months ago, we started trying to solve that problem, and we started with the charrette. And Lita and Greg Gautreaux was very helpful to us in actually helping us fund the charrette. We had 3 public meetings, I believe, from front to back. We got the input from our community, from some of the organizations that were represented here tonight. And we listened and we took notes, and we had master planning done for the first time in Broussard's history, at least as far as I know about. And this plan is what developed. It took some time to get from the end of that master planning into some real workable plans. And that's what we have tonight by Duplantis Engineering. Civil plans, improvement plans, and then architectural and landscape architecture plans that will help us put one solution in for our entire city. It was very exciting today to hear from a couple of our councilmen that told me, we support this plan. The problem is we want to move faster. Phase 2 and 3 are important to us, and we got to get that going. And I thought that was fantastic, and I appreciate all the input that has been given since our agenda came out. So today we asked Duplantis Engineering to not only continue their design in phase 2, but encompass phase 3 as fast as they could professionally, and get us a plan that we can deliver to the state so they can begin executing the construction that they owe us, because we don't want to have that $3 million that they owe us at risk. So I am certainly every part of me is certainly in support of this project. Broussard, I'm trying to leave my personal happiness about improving downtown Broussard secondary to the business functionality of having a better water line, a better sewer line, and having improved infrastructure, because that's what makes sense on paper. But to be able to do something that is culturally rich for our city and add amenities that our citizens can use day to day and attract new businesses and new development in our downtown area is just as important. But you have to have a feeling for that. It doesn't make as much sense on paper. So thank you, everyone who presented tonight. Thank you to the council for considering improving downtown Broussard, and I'll end it there. Is there any more council comment?
Call for the question.
District 4, District 5,
Yes.
District 6,
Yay.
at large. District 1, yes. District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you all again, those who spoke tonight. Item 6.1, ordinance number 20-662. An ordinance of the City Council enacting ordinances and sections to provide for the annexation of certain properties located in Section 9, Township 11 South, Range 5 East, Lafayette Parish, Louisiana, being known as the David Bertrand II annexation in Voting District 5. Do we have a motion to adopt?
Second.
Don, I believe you may want to comment on this, but this ordinance was introduced at our last meeting. It is up for final adoption now. The maps have been supplied in the packet. Do you have any comments on this item?
No, Mr. Mayor, it was introduced previously. I've received no further comments in regards to that. We have the proper publication. The notices have been put out in the newspaper. So if it's adopted tonight, it will become a final ordinance, and we will, of course, publish it by all the appropriate departments.
Is there any public comment, Tina?
No public comments.
Council comments?
Question.
District 5,
Yes.
District 6,
Yay.
District at large. District 1, yes. District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
motion carries.
Item 6.2, ordinance number 20-663. An ordinance of the City Council enacting ordinances and sections to provide for the annexation of certain properties located in Section 9, Township 11 South, Range 5 East, Lafayette Parish, Louisiana, being known as the Helen St. Amand annexation in Voting District 5. Do we have a motion to adopt?
I do make a motion.
Don, again, I'll refer to you. This is up for final adoption. It was presented at a previous meeting.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, it was previously introduced. Plats were attached to the ordinance. We had some discussion on it. Since then, I've heard no further comments. We have published the notice. Everything is in order for final adoption if council so chooses.
Public comment?
No public comments.
Council comments?
District
Second.
6, at large. District 1, yes. District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
motion carries.
Item 6.3, ordinance number 20-664. An ordinance of the City Council amending the 2020-2021 operating budget of revenues and expenditures for Hernandez Heights Water Project up to $150,000. Do we have a motion to adopt?
I'll move. I'll take that.
Seconded. This item was presented to the city by Councilman Gary. So, Councilman, would you like to comment and present it? It was introduced at the previous meeting, and the map was supplied, and it is still part of the packet.
That is correct, Mr. Mayor. Everything is in order for final adoption. This evening, I recall the discussion. It seemed like everybody was in favor then, and I have heard no further comments. There's no opposition that I know of, and everything is in order for final adoption.
No public comments.
Is there call for the question? Yes, sir.
It's a horseshoe circle.
Councilman Higginbotham questioned how many fire hydrants would be part of this water project, and the answer is 4. Thank you, Mel.
At large. District 1, yes. District 2,
Yes.
District 3,
Yes.
District 4,
Yes.
District 5,
Yes.
District 6,
Yay.
motion carries.
Item 6.4, ordinance number 20-665. An ordinance of the City Council enacting ordinances and sections to provide for the annexation of certain properties located in Section 20, 60, and 29, Township 10 South, Range 5 East, Lafayette Parish, Louisiana, being known as the Diane Marie Keating, John E. Shepherd, and Anzalone Real Estate Incorporated annexation on West Pinhook Road and in Voting District 1. Do we have a motion to adopt?
Make a motion.
Don, would you like to comment? This is the second, this is the adoption, second time it appears at our council meeting.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, it does come up for final adoption. All the notices have been made, and I can tell you that there was a lot of good work performed on this annexation by Mr. Como's firm, especially Daniel. We needed this annexation for the South Bernard Road area, and very happy that we were able to get it in a very timely manner.
Thank you, Don. Is there any public comment?
No public comments.
Council discussion?
District 1? Yes. District 2? District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yay.
At large? Motion carries.
Item 6.5, ordinance number 20-666. An ordinance amending the zoning ordinance to include the following maps. Map D-8, portions of the Youngsville Highway, LA Highway 89, Blackjack Lane, and La Nouvelle Road. Map D-9, portions of La Nouvelle Road, Youngsville Highway, LA Highway 89, Coachman Drive, Rue Plaisance, Carriage Light Loop, Rue de Beauchesnes, Gordon Crockett Drive. Map D-10, portions of Youngsville Highway, Highway 89, Ambassador Caffrey Parkway, Russo Road, Hart de Farm Road, Melissa Drive, Amberwood Drive, Teakwood Drive, Paper Shell Drive, and Estate Lane. Map E-10, portions of Paper Shell Drive, Estate Lane, Teakwood Drive, Amberwood Drive, and Hart de Farm Road. Do we have a motion to adopt?
I'll move to adopt.
Don, would you like to comment?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. Of course, it came before our commission. Had plenty of discussion on it. Everybody seems to be in favor of this. I've heard no further comments on the on this zoning. This goes a long ways in trying to move forward on our zoning issues in the city of Broussard. So it is my recommendation that we would pass this ordinance so that we complete that process.
Thank you.
No public comments.
Any council comments?
Question.
District 2?
Yes.
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yay.
At large? District 1? Yes. Motion carries.
Item 6.6, ordinance number 20-667, an ordinance of the City Council enacting ordinances and sections to provide for the annexation of certain properties located in sections 21 and 57, Township 10 South, Range 5 East, Lafayette Parish, Louisiana, being known as the Blue Wing Real Estate LLC annexation off of South Bernard Road in Voting District 1. Do we have a motion to adopt?
I'll make a motion.
Mr. Landry, once again.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. This ordinance, I believe, should be passed because we have the proper notices, the advertising was made, and all is in order. I've heard no negative comments. I remember the discussion at the prior meeting. Plat was in the packet, I believe. Everybody had a good chance to look at it last time. I see no reason why this should not go forward from a legal standpoint.
Yes, sir. We've had no new information since our last meeting.
No public comments.
Council discussion?
District 3?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 6?
Yay.
At large? District 1? Yes. District 2?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 7.1, condemnation of 506 Avenue B, property owned by Mr. Brian Bro. Don, do we need a vote to condemn, or is this?
Recall, we discussed the condemnation and we were concerned about the lack of progress. If necessary this evening, we could go forward with authorizing you to sign an order to inspect him. I believe Mr. Terrio has had some additional contact
Yes,
with Mr. Bro. I was encouraged by the news that was reported to me about that, and so I would ask the council to consider his comments, and then we can move forward from there.
Yes, sir. Ms. Terrio, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor. So since the last council meeting, I was able to get in touch with Mr. Bro. We were able to serve him with the condemnation papers for him to come to the meeting. At the time, he did purchase the demolition permit to start tearing down some of the part of the house that was destroyed. He's made significant improvement on getting some of the junk, as you can see from the pictures. He's cleaned up a lot of the site. I believe he's cleaned some more in the backyard up. This alone, so part of the condemnation issue is public health issues, which are rodents and stuff like that. So the fact that he's cleaning up a lot of this stuff is going to help eliminate that aspect of the public endangerment. Like I said, it took a little while for him to start going again. I think he started going again. I spoke with Councilman Rocca.
Yes, he has made some significant improvements since our last meeting. Thank you for that. I just hope it continues, and I'm gonna ask the council if we can give him another 30 days. And then I'll follow up with him weekly as he has been doing, and
I can send out another email after the next council meeting, that following week meeting, give y'all an update on how the status is and how things are going. Like I said, we talked, he's interested in getting all his permits that he needs in order to fix his house up, and that's where he wants to live, so.
he's putting forth the effort. Now,
Let's move forward 30 days.
thank y'all.
Mr. Landry, what would you require from a legal standpoint?
Not necessarily a requirement, but I'd request that maybe we do that in the form of a motion so that we can keep the process going. And he's notified now he is actually here tonight. Thank you very much, Mr. Bro, for your effort. Appreciate it.
Mr. Bro, we're encouraged by the progress you make, and the city would certainly like to work with you as long as you continue to make progress. So thank you for being here tonight and working with us on that. The council, I think, is doing everything they can to work with you. So we have a motion by Councilman Delahousie to extend for 30 days, and I heard a second by Councilman Bonet.
Yes. Yes. Yay.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Item 8.1, adjourn the meeting. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion. Yes. Yay.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Thank you all for being here tonight. Have a safe evening.